How's it going? I'm Tobin. In front of me is Luna, my German Shepherd. Back out at Doris Ranch. I'm at what they call the Living History Village. Behind me is one of the structures. Won't go too much into the history. I'll put some links in the description and also links to previous videos. This will be like my 8th video from this location, as you've most likely seen from the photos. Autumn Cabin from Macduff's. Sean is the artisan. Macduff is his pup. Got this a year or two ago, maybe 3. It is the V4 base, his most current base. Absolutely love it. Nothing wrong with the V3 base. I have a couple of soaps in that, but the V4 really stands out. It's raining. It's September 24th. Autumn officially started the other day, and I couldn't think of a more fitting location that was close to the house than this place here. My wife actually suggested it. I'd forgotten all about it. Let's get into the scent notes real briefly. Toasted maple, fir needle, balsam, juniper, cedarwood, vanilla, pear, lemon, and cardamom. I have scooped that with my Iron Man scoop. A first use Bolzano blade. In my vintage Gillette as a long comb. Absolutely beautiful razor. These give a nice medium efficiency shave. I'll be finishing it off with my matching splash and brought with me my alum, which I actually left over here to the right where my wife is. She is under a shelter. You'll see that in the B-roll. Whipping it up in my Captain's Choice bowl, and I'm using a 2-band badger from Mred. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing extremely well. It is a Sunday. Back to work tomorrow. This time of year in Oregon, we usually get a week of rain, a week of sunshine, or you get a couple days of each. Get some water in there. This fragrance is one of the rare fragrances that Emily enjoys. So for those of you keeping track at home, this is an Emily fragrance. Warm, woody, earthy. The kind of fragrance that really kicks off fall and just brings the season to life. It is not overly sweet at all. It is a woody, earthy, masculine scent that a lot of women will appreciate on you. My wife loves this. Her and Emily both enjoy it. And so it's one of those rare fragrances that not only do I enjoy, but both of the women in my life enjoy as well. And so that is always a win for me. Directly below you, I have a mirror hanging that has actually turned. It's covered in raindrops. I may end up using the cell phone monitor screen more than I use it. Wearing my Shave Supply shirt. Gareth is the owner of the Shave Supply. He is a good friend of mine in the community. I have paid for everything in this video except for the shirt. Gareth did send me the shirt as a gift because I'm a big supporter of him and his store. And it's one of the few vendors that I normally buy from. I try to buy from artisans when possible. For those of you in the States, buying directly from Sean, the artisan at Macduff's, is a little trickier. He is up in Canada, but thankfully you can find his products at a few vendors here in the States. Shave Supply being one of them, and I checked before I came out here. Gareth has a handful of those still in stock at the time of recording this. You can also get that at Pasteur's, and the Razor Company has it as well. I don't know if they have it in stock. I didn't check to see Pasteur's or TRC's inventory, but I did check Gareth's, and Gareth had a handful of them, and I communicated with him as well before coming out here. I will not profit from the sale of anything in this video. If you buy from Sean though, Sean does have in stock a solid cologne, a wax melt, and other things with this fragrance. Gareth does have the bath bar. I don't have the bath bar of Autumn Cabin, but I do have Kananaskis Explorer. I've done a review of that. If I remember, I'll put a link to that in the description as well. I love that fragrance. If I had to have one favorite fragrance from Macduff's, Kananaskis and Blackrock, I've done a top 5. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. Those two would be like my main go-tos. When it comes to the cabin series, I cannot say enough about Autumn Cabin. Autumn Cabin is the first in the cabin series. Here in a few weeks, Haunted Cabin, which I do not own, will be dropping. I hope to grab that this year. I do have the 4 seasons. There's the Autumn Cabin, the Winter Cabin, Spring and Summer, and then there's also a Christmas Cabin. Christmas and the Halloween Cabin both dropped for the first time last year. I am going to go ahead and use the phone screen, I think, for the most part. The phone screen is lighter or brighter than what it actually is, or at least on my mirror there. Toasted maple. So as you can see or read on the sales page, there's no maple essential oil. You have to create it. People toast maple, or roast maple is something that it's called, to remove the moisture from it, and it hardens the wood and makes it last longer. The fragrance of toasted maple can be described as warm, slightly sweet, a little spicy. This is one of those fragrances that you can definitely call like a quintessential autumn fragrance. Not only does the label scream autumn, but the fragrance does as well. It is just beautiful. And it is the kind of fragrance that you could easily wear in the summer, especially on a cool night. It's not overly warm or overly dark. While there is a sweetness to this fragrance, I would not call it or gourmand, not by any means of the word. I don't think it's that sweet. It is just a slight sweetness. That sweetness gets tamed down by all the woods in this. I would technically classify this as a woody, earthy fragrance with a hint of sweetness. Hi, Luna. She's right below us. The lather and the performance of Sean's V4 is just as good, if not better, than anything on the market. I'll get a scotch of water in my bowl. Let's whip this up and listen to the rain. And I'll talk about the other notes. If you follow my content, you know I love earthy fragrances. That's why I fell in love in the first place with Macduff's. Sean, let me think, make sure this is fair. In my experience, nobody does outdoorsy fragrances like Macduff's. When it comes to outdoor fragrances, Sean is doing it better than anyone. And if you've seen my Kananaskis or my top 5 video, I've said it about Blackrock and Kananaskis. Those are two of the most realistic outdoor fragrances out there. Sean blends all his essential oils and creates his own fragrances. And wherever he is sourcing those from, he is doing a killer job of bringing them to life and blending them perfectly to where this is not overly sweet. You have that fir needle and the balsam. A fir needle, a fair way to classify it, because you got a lot of wood in this. And the juniper is like a cade. and then the cedar is an Atlas. Fresh, woody, earthy, and then right, next to that you have the balsam fir, which is rich, warm, and balsamic. And so you have this freshness and this richness that are just running together almost as one. This is extremely well blended to where it's hard to just pick out one from the other. The last couple of days I've really been trying. I'm wearing it on the back of my hand, and I have a couple other fragrances that I'm wearing as well to try and do like the old coffee thing where you reset your olfactory, reset the old schnauzer. Juniper. So Cade is a variety of juniper. Smoky and sappy, bitter, freshy kind of pine. Juniper is beautiful. I love the blade feel. This has got the thin common bar handle on it. I'll never replate it. I like it the way that it is. The juniper runs this right into the cedar, which is an Atlas. And that is a beautiful premium cedar. Resinous and warm, sweet and balsamic. If you love outdoor fragrances, I can't recommend checking out Macduff's enough if you haven't. The performance is there, and Sean is doing it better than anyone. Like seriously, I've tried, and there's so many different ones that some places they'll get a fragrance right, but then you try another one of their outdoor fragrances and it smells like a candle, or some Glade air spray or something, or at least might remind you of it a little bit. Autumn Cabin, like Kananaskis and like Black Rock, smell premium, real, so good. When I had Emily, she's experienced this before, as has my wife, but they forget because I have 1,001 fragrances, right? And they don't smell them all the time like I do. They don't remember them like I do. When I brought it to Emily today to have her smell it, she did the bug eye. I wish there was a way to get a sample of this. I'd recommend that everyone gets a sample. It's just so damn good. It really, really is. The vanilla, pear, lemon, and cardamom. I don't pick out any lemon or citrus per se. The vanilla, though, and the cedar are acting as a great base that you should be able to get a good 8 hours of wear out of the fragrance, out of the splash. My solid that I have of Crow's Nest, I get a good 8 to 10 hours of wear. I can put it on in the morning, so if you wanted to really boost it, that's the way I would go. And my intentions is to make a purchase from Sean's before they're gone. I would love to have the solid cologne of this, and even the wax melt. I'd need to buy a diffuser, all honesty. I don't have one, but this is the kind of fragrance that I would do it for. Bolzanos do great in these old Gillettes. Bolzanos are a sharper blade, with 10 being the sharpest thing ever, like a feather or a kai. I put a Bolzano right around an 8, a good solid 8. perfect for, you know, a mild, medium efficiency razor like the vintage Gillettes. If you haven't picked up Black Rock yet, I think Gareth still has some in stock. That is his collaboration with Sean at Macduff's. And it and Kananaskis, I'm telling you, everyone needs both of those in their den. I can't recommend this one enough either. Two seconds while I grab my towel. I grabbed a German Shepherd in the process. She followed me back over here. Oh crap. Realized I forgot to grab my lum while I was over there. Oh, buddy. If you can't afford it and you'd like to try this fragrance, I'd be happy to put enough for a shave or two in between some wax paper and throw it in an envelope and mail it to you. My link tree is in the description. Ways to reach out to me. Bougie. The everlasting alum stick, Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. A little bit of feedback. The splash from Macduff's is a witch hazel, no alcohol. So depending on where you live, should be pretty shippable, right? Just a quick spritz and a wipe. Hey Luna. Have you tried Haunted Cabin? If you have, tell me what you think about it. Is it a must buy? I've heard good things about it. I've heard a couple of people that weren't too crazy about it, but they enjoyed it. I was just so busy buying other things last year. You know how it goes. We're so fortunate, us modern wet shavers, that the options never seem to cease. I was having a conversation with Andy and Maya the other day, the owner of the wet shaving store, and one of my all-time favorite fragrances that came out for the first time as part of the Latha series from Barrister and Mann, but then it went away before coming back. And I forget which base. I have it at home. That's how many options we have today, that even places like Barrister and Mann have 1,001 soap bases that they're continuously coming out with. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it depends on how you look at it. But Oceana came back. And I guess it came back in July, which makes sense. Oh my God. This has a beautiful mapley, piney, very piney top to it. Not like, not over the top piney, like Kananaskis has more of a pine start to it. Oh, beautifully blended, perfectly blended. But I didn't know that Oceana had came back. And Barrister and Mann is one of those companies that I try and keep up with. But anymore, it just seems like there's always so much noise. New things dropping all the time. It's just so hard to keep up with. Am I the only one? I can't be the only one, right? It's like that Aaron Lewis song. Am I the only one? Sitting here, wondering how many more artisans are out there dropping fragrances that I'm not aware of. Oceana is a good one. If you don't have it, check that one out. It's in stock at the wet shaving store, and I believe it was still in stock at Bear Stearns Man. I just looked real briefly at it. Someone's walking by. Luna's letting them know. That's enough. Give me 1 second. Gave my wife a hand with her. Luna was off the leash. Well, thank you guys for joining me out here. It's the little big things. Before we know it, it's going to be Thanksgiving, and then New Year's, and then back to summer, and autumn will be just a memory. Shave Supply. Gareth, he's the owner. Sean, the artisan at Macduff's. Links to both of those websites will be in the description. If you're in the States and just want the soap and splash, check out the Shave Supply. If you want to check out Macduff's and you've never checked them out before, definitely check out Macduff's website. Macduff's is the dog, Sean is the artisan, and it's damn good stuff, Maynard. It's the little big things. It's only shaving. Take care of yourself. Nobody else is going to do it. And on behalf of Luna, my wife, take care. Welcome to the B-roll. Thanks for sticking around. Here's the front side of the cabin. And so once again, we are at Doris Ranch. This is part of the living history. So this would have been something like what Kay and Doris first built. If you've seen my other content, you know that they are the original founders of this property, and the ones who first originally planted filberts on it. My wife has been sitting over here to my right, your left of the shave. I borrowed this little thing. It was over on the other side. I have had you guys hang in here from this oak tree. Living history sign. There's more to the park, but I'm going to save the other parts of it for future videos. And leave it as a surprise. This part of the park has oak everywhere. You see it comes all the way down and actually touches the ground. And then right here to my left, I've had my stool. I want to thank you guys again for joining me. Luna and my wife out here at Doris's Natural Living History, what you call it, park, museum, village is what they call it. Look at that oak. It is just massive. The amount of wood and timber in this one branch. Now to find out how dry I'm going to stay. Y'all take care. Thanks again for joining us out here. Me and my shadow. Hey Luna. Luna, say goodbye. Can you speak? Speak. Thank you. Y'all take care.